Welcome to this latest Salesforce.com customer podcast, featuring UK companies with exceptional first-hand experience of cloud computing, to talk about how, in these recessionary times, the cloud model is helping them to increase revenues while keeping costs in check. With me is Louise Beaumont, Managing Director of Vector Associates. Vector is a consultancy and interim company working with blue-chip clients such as HP, Capgemini and Microsoft to help them attract, develop and retain their clients. And we have Chen Kotecha, Managing Director of Scancom Distribution. Chen's company is a leading supplier of BlackBerry business devices, airtime and software. And Scancom has been serving the UK business community for almost 15 years, partnering with some of the most prestigious names in the telco industry, including Orange and Vodafone. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining this podcast this morning. If you could just each introduce your relationship with Salesforce.com and explain how you came to choose the company and what specifically were the driving factors behind your decision to opt for this cloud model. Louise, can we start with you?
Sure. At Vector we faced really four challenges. We're a business development company. We help companies, blue chip companies, with their business development. So we had four main challenges. One around perception. We need to create and maintain a positive perception of Vector in our clients' minds. So we need to look blue chip to them so that they feel comfortable with us. So we need to be and be seen to be totally professional about the way that we develop our own business and the way that we interact with our clients. We've got multiple people leveraging multiple touch points within multiple clients. So the second point was around client management. We need to be absolutely on top of all of the different contacts we have within our clients. And not necessarily, we're talking about large blue chip global companies there. Here they have very complex structures and complex decision-making processes. So we need a one-time, real-time view of the customer. The third challenge we face is obviously one of lack of time. We don't have a great deal of time to spend on doing kind of the plumbing of our organisation. So we wanted a system that would adapt to us and not be a straitjacket for us. One that integrated sales and marketing, crucial to our business and crucial to what we do for our clients. And we wanted also something that would act as a spine upon which we could bolt other tools. So we had something that was flexible, adaptable and fit for us, not just fit for purpose. And we also need something that would cope with our people. We have Tiggers and we have Eeyores. So we have bouncy enthusiasts who are truly positive and see the options and the possibilities in everything. And then we have Eeyores who just don't. For whom any excuse as to why this won't, can't or shan't work will do. And we needed to be able to cope with all four of those issues and something that would take us forward, hence our choice of Salesforce.com.
Chen, were Scancom's challenges similar in the sense you had this kind of like fragmented, disparate pot of different systems that you were using to manage your customer relationships?
It was fragmentation and frustration. What actually did it for me is we ended up exhibiting on the same stand with you guys with BlackBerry. So I'm sat there thinking, I use an Access database, it's locked. We have Excel, thousands of sheets everywhere. And the telecoms business gets more and more complex. You have customers, you have phones, you have IMEI numbers, PIN numbers, tariff dates, upgrades, renewals, contracts, etc., etc. So I sat for about 3 hours with your guys and I think I must have driven him mentally insane at the end of it. But eventually the penny dropped, it clicked. And we said, right, well fine, we'll take Salesforce because I think this will do what we want to. We implemented it within, I think it was around 60 minutes. It was done, it was dusted. We only started off on a little professional version with 5 users. That was in 2006. Now we're on enterprise with 12 users. Okay, so we're not a big user base, but it makes my 12 staff do the job of 36 staff. It just grows with you, and the only limit is how far can you make it? It really is your imagination to say, oh, I want to do this. Well, you can do this. I want to do that. You can do that. So from just having it as a customer contact with contacts and accounts, we started doing further things, thinking we can run our stock system on this, we can run our cash book on this, we can run our to-do list on this. So suddenly, it, just like yourself, it became the spinal cord of the business, and then the motto eventually became, if it isn't on Salesforce, don't talk to me about it. Put it on there, then deal with it. So it moved away from doing all the other little bits of Excel and Word documents and your own internal stuff to one one piece of software that just works.
It seems that the common theme coming from you is that kind of you begin with this low risk, rapid implementation, in your case 60 minutes,
60
as you say,
minutes,
which
yeah.
is phenomenal, and I take my hat off to you for that.
It really was.
And subsequently, since then, you've really broadened it almost to all aspects of your business. So it really is, from what I'm understanding, the kind of the heart and lungs of your business. Is that, Louise? Is that the case? Do you think for you?
Yes, and it allowed us to focus on what we do as a business rather than on the plumbing. So it just made life incredibly simple, both efficient and it allowed us to be effective as well. And for me, that's the goal. So if it can be efficient and effective, then I'm interested. If it's a time drain or an energy drain or a resource drain or a money drain, I'm not. In some ways, the larger the organisation, the more it takes the balance of power almost away from IT, the IT department, and back into the business, because it is about your processes as a business.
Yeah.
You can enable it because whatever you want to do, Salesforce can do it, as Jan has said. So it's down to the imagination of the business and the ability of that business to execute processes.
And do you have any particular examples of where you've really been able to accelerate your development and bring out a new service particularly quickly by nature of being able to develop it in the cloud?
What we found is once we started using it, we went from the basic and we started stacking up. Suddenly we decided, you know what, it's a database so it can hold all our stock. Okay, let's develop something to hold the stock. One day later, we were up and running and everybody's doing it. Okay, so you modify it thereafter. Thereafter, we need to communicate with the customers when they've bought something. Hold on, we can do a workflow on here. Send it out. Oh, somebody pays us something. Where do we write this down? Oh, put a module in to write that down. The staff want a to-do list. Well, do a little object and add that on, and then start emailing people. Fundamentally, you can do whatever you want as quick as you can really put it into action. There is no holds bar on this, and I found that this really turned my business upside down, inside out, and back to front.
But that's the point, isn't it? It allows you to look blue chip to your blue chip clients without having a blue chip budget. It's how does a large organisation metabolise change, and particularly the change opportunities which are available to us now via the cloud. And it's the location, so it doesn't matter really where those opportunities are. It's just that they're there, they're significant, you could do anything you wanted to do. It's how that larger enterprise grabs the opportunity and makes the most out of it. I think that's crucial.
We're talking a lot about the productivity advantages of cloud computing and the fact that it can enhance your customers' satisfaction and the service they receive from your respective organisations. What about the actual revenue opportunities that the cloud computing model provides, especially in the current climate we all find ourselves in economically, either to kind of upsell and cross-sell within your existing customer base or beyond?
I think there are the general benefits, which for us are increased efficiency, increased effectiveness. So we would look for that anyway, no matter what the economy was doing. So it allows us to husband our resources and it allows us to focus on impact with clients. But it also underpins our entire business model. So if what we do with our clients is help them attract, develop and retain clients, it allows us to do exactly the same. It allows us to position in the minds of our clients. So we work out who we want to be known by and what we want to be known for. It helps us be really efficient and effective about how we attract new business, so lead generation, lead management. It helps us win more business by being really clear about who the buying network is and who we need to manage in terms of who's the authorizer, who the influencers are, and who the budget holders are, for example. But once we've won that business, we want those relationships to be ongoing and expanding. So it helps us then to monetize those relationships, to get projects up and running really fast. It then helps us to maintain those relationships, which is absolutely on-sell, upsell and cross-sell. By managing, the more people you know in these global organisations, the more people you need to know, and your networks expand, and you need to understand how those networks relate to each other. So it gives us an understanding of those networks and how to manage them. And it helps us retain clients because we're constantly understanding and refreshing our understanding of what their issues are, so that when we go back to them with new ideas and new propositions, we're actually targeting their issues. So it allows us to retain the customer's attention, to retain the customer's confidence, because we clearly understand them.
Chen, how about your experiences? Obviously, the BlackBerry market, I guess, is burgeoning, but to what extent does cloud computing help you to channel your sales resources and identify those opportunities you think you might otherwise have missed?
I think cloud computing, whether it's in a boom period or a downturn as we're in at the moment, what it's helped to do is reduce stress in a big way. Insofar as from a business point of view, if you need something doing, you don't have to spend any more on doing it, because you know you've got a fixed cost, end of story. So you can continue to expand your business, but knowing that, hey, I'm only paying this much a month or year. What cloud computing also helped us do in this kind of environment is, if you want people working remotely, well, fine, you can take on people, not necessarily have them in the office. People can deal with things, and all they need is what? An internet connection. That's it. No expensive hardware, no expensive software, just an internet connection. Also, what's happened is we're in the business of deploying data, so whether it's BlackBerry or data cards or these dongles that you can get broadband anywhere, cloud computing in the downturn has made people go and get these sort of devices because they want to work anywhere. And that's the biggest thing in this period, that you can mobilize anybody anytime, anywhere, but they don't have to pay any more for that. And I believe that's where cloud computing has really helped us.
What advice would you give to other organisations listening to this who are potentially looking at the cloud model as a means of developing their corporate strategy? What advice would you give them?
Don't be scared to do it. Really, I mean, it's that simple.
Ask yourself the question, do you want to spend your time doing your business, building your relationship with your customers, developing business with those customers, or do you want to spend your time either becoming an IT expert, cobbling together systems with sticky back plastic and Excel and ACT or whatever, or do you want to spend your money, your time and your effort managing outsourced IT suppliers? Now, what do you want to do? Do you want to run your business, or do you want to spend your time running your IT?
So you're evangelists of cloud computing. Where do you think you would be if you didn't have it?
Stressed.
If we didn't have any of the Salesforce model and cloud computing generally, would be in not such a good place. We'd be stressed. We'd not do as much business as we need to be doing. We'd be running around trying to merge databases and spreadsheets and bits of paper and all this kind of stuff. New opportunities would have opened, but we wouldn't be able to service them because we didn't have the right back end to do it in. So I think it would have resulted in a loss of major amounts of business for us, probably a level of credibility we wouldn't have attained had we not known that customers not known that we're using this platform. It would have taken us back many years.
So what you're saying is, in this recession, ultimately, cloud computing has helped you to not necessarily survive, but certainly thrive where you might not otherwise have done so.
I think recession or otherwise, I think you can't afford not to have the cloud computing now. I think it's just a de facto of doing business today.
So it gives us pace over the competition. Slowly, it's such an obviously good model that more and more people will take it up. And then you're down to, how do you wring every last bit of benefit out of this model for your business? And that takes a very, that's a business conversation to have. It's not a techie conversation. It's absolutely, how do I drive value out of this for me, for my business, for my customers?
So where would Vector be, do you feel, if you hadn't gone down that cloud computing route?
Just less efficient, less effective. A lot of what our business is about is relationships, personal relationships with people in large organisations, and we have to look blue chip to those organisations. We can't afford to look. We can't afford not to tick the credibility box in their mind. So being able to punch above our weight, to have more capability than a small organisation ought to have in their minds, allows us to enter a level of relationship which they might otherwise have questions about. So it's just very, very valuable to us.
I think the other problem we would have had without the cloud computing is we'd have had to recruit more people. Simple. We'd have had to go and recruit more people. We started on group edition, we moved to professional edition. When we hit professional edition a short while after the recession started, then we needed people to do more customer services, and you have to try, even in a recession period, you've got to go out there and do more sales. So we thought, do we get these 3 people to send these customer welcome emails and do a bit of service and do a bit of this and do a bit of that? No. Let's just move it up to enterprise because it has all these great things called workflows and automatic emails and all this kind of stuff. So we paid the extra, saved on 3 staff, and it works. So you're spending more on the cloud in a recessionary period because it does the work of 2 or 3 extra employees that you don't now need to have.
Can you put a figure on that at all?
Yeah, I would say that we moved from professional to enterprise and saved 4 staff at around 15k a year. So it's a no-brainer.
Thank you all very much indeed for your time today. We've been discussing the cloud computing with Louise Beaumont from Vector and Chen Kotecha from Scancom Distribution. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.